Hey everyone, this is Derrick Broze of the Conscious Resistance Network, and today we are going to talk about vaccines, Donald Trump, and for those of you who support Donald Trump, I'm going to show you that you can't rely on Donald Trump or the federal government or really anyone to protect you from a coming mandatory vaccine or some sort of social engineering scheme whereby if you don't have this vaccine, maybe a measles vaccine or a COVID-19 vaccine, you won't be able to operate in normal life. You won't be able to go to work, travel, school, etc. So we're going to get into all of that and more. But first, I want to remind you guys to bookmark my website, theconsciousresistance.com, which you can see right here in front of your screen. Hit Control-D right now and save us to your bookmark tab, and you can visit us on a weekly basis so you're not relying on controlled social media platforms. And this is where you're going to get all of our books, our essays, articles, documentaries, video interviews, news reports, podcasts, and so much more information that we've been creating here for the last 8 years. Thank you to everybody who keeps supporting us. If you want to support us, follow us on Minds, join us on Hive, join our Discord channel. I highly recommend joining my text list. You can also follow us on Float, BitChute, or Library. And if you want to support financially, you can do so at patreon.com/DerrickBroze or by joining our friends My Brave Botanicals and get you a free ounce of Kratom. So let's get right into this. About a month ago, Gavi, the Global Vaccine Alliance, which we'll talk more about in just a second, put out this video with Donald Trump, which just says he, Donald Trump, I'm not sure why it says that, from June 5th, so it's almost a month ago now, and it says Global Vaccine Summit 2020. The UK hosted Global Vaccine Summit heralds a new era of global health collaboration as world leaders show overwhelming commitment to equitable immunization coverage and global health security in the face of the COVID-19 pandemic. The virtual event raised $8.8 billion from 32 governments and 12 foundations, corporations, and organizations to immunize 300 million children and support the fight against COVID-19. So, Global Vaccine Summit brought to you by Gavi, Global Vaccine Alliance, and here are Donald Trump's statements. Check this out.
Gavi operates with great transparency, and Boris Johnson is somebody with tremendous respect for you and everything you do. He called, he said, you think you could do something maybe around the Oval Office or right by the Oval Office? I said, why not? It happens to be right behind me. As the coronavirus has shown, there are no borders. It doesn't discriminate. It's mean, it's nasty, but we're going to all take care of it together. It's great to be partnering with you. We will work hard. We will work strong. Send my regards to Boris, and good luck. Let's get the answer.
Now, of course, we could argue that was pretty vague and that Donald Trump really didn't, say too much there, but clearly he said Boris Johnson of the UK called on him, and here you can see Justin Trudeau of Canada, who put out his Gavi Alliance video as well. So they've got all the world leaders putting out their support videos, talking about how they're going to get behind the billions of dollars being raised for the Global Vaccine Alliance for a COVID-19 vaccine. So again, Donald Trump is here in this video partnering with Gavi, and even though he does his usual rambling, talking about being at the White House or whatever, he's clearly in support of this. Otherwise, I don't think he would be making this statement. Now, let's give you a little bit of background for those who might be new. I've talked about the Global Vaccine Alliance before. Actually, last May, Global Vaccine Alliance said that anti-vax info is a disease and should be censored. This came out from Reuters. We covered that article there. These statements were from the CEO of Gavi, and we talked about the rise of propaganda related to vaccines. And then you go here to Gavi.org, our alliance, and it describes what they are, how they operate. Of course, you see here the World Health Organization, the World Bank, lots of global organizations, and here you go, Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, independent individuals, the vaccine industry. So that's what they do. They promote vaccines, and we can go here. This is from 2007, Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation statement on the advanced market commitment for pneumococcal vaccines. So for at least the last decade, more than a decade, Bill and Melinda Gates have been involved in Gavi. And of course, you may remember that in 2010, Bill and Melinda Gates launched the decade of vaccines. And that's kind of what we're coming to a conclusion now, coincidentally, at the same time that COVID-19 is spreading around the world. So Trump is issuing a statement. It's on the Gavi Vaccine Alliance YouTube channel, and you notice they turned off comments so nobody can say anything. They turned off the like and dislike count so nobody knows what that's about. Then let's go a little further, guys. For those of you who need more evidence that Donald Trump is not going to protect you on vaccines, because I know that I've had people recently saying, no, he's not going to push mandatory vaccines, because in recent weeks he said that, he's aware some people don't want the vaccines. But saying you're aware people don't want the vaccines is a lot different than saying we're not going to force them, or we're not going to use other methods to try to socially engineer and pressure them to do so. Now, here he is speaking last year, April 26, 2019. This is on MSNBC's YouTube channel, but these are Donald Trump's own words. And here he is on the measles outbreak. You guys remember last year it was like measles are spreading elsewhere, everywhere. It's the anti-vaxxers' fault, and we need people to get the shots. Well, here's Donald Trump last year, April 2019, being asked about the measles outbreak that was going on at that time, or that we were being told about, and what he thinks about it.
They have to get the shot. The vaccinations are so important. This is really going around now. They have to get their shots.
This is really going around right now. They have to get their shots. Let me just do that one more time for those of you who think this is some fake news.
They have to get the shot. The vaccinations are so important. This is really going around now. They have to get their shots.
Now, unless you're one of these people who believe that he's doing 4D chess and this is just a fake out move so that, the deep state doesn't realize he's actually against vaccines and he's going to save the people. I mean, unless you want to believe in that fantasy, then it's clear. Look, the guy's doing Gavi videos now. He's saying you got to get the shots right here. But let's go a little further. Maybe there's more evidence that can point to this. Oh, here's an article I wrote last month, or back in May now, almost 2 months ago. Trump appoints big pharma executive connected to Bill Gates to head vaccine developments. On Friday, Donald Trump announced his appointment of Moncef Slaoui, a former executive with vaccine manufacturer GlaxoSmithKline, to lead Operation Warp Speed, which is Trump's plan to fast-track development of vaccines for COVID-19. And of course, we've talked about this. Operation Warp Speed is focusing on 4 vaccines, with the hopes of testing and producing 100 million doses by October 2020, 200 million by December, and 300 million doses by January. And they said that this is a credible goal by January 2021. Operation Warp Speed calls for public-private partnerships to mimic the National Institutes of Health's recent call for bringing together pharmaceutical companies. The NIH plan called Accelerating COVID-19 Therapeutic Interventions and Vaccine Partnerships. So the NIH put that out. Remember, you got to understand the NIH has connections to Gates through Fauci and elsewhere. Then Trump announces Operation Warp Speed to rush that, and then he appoints a freaking big pharma exec, but not just any big pharma exec, a vaccine manufacturer, the former executive from GlaxoSmithKline, which has produced all kinds of vaccines, and they have definitely been held liable and called out for some of the dangers of their vaccines. So, just to reiterate, Donald Trump putting out a statement from Gavi, the Global Vaccine Alliance, which has called for censoring quote-unquote anti-vax info as a disease, and is partnered with the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. Donald Trump in 2019 says they have to get the shots. The vaccines are so important, they have to get the shots. Donald Trump in May 2020 appointing a big pharma exec vaccine manufacturer from GlaxoSmithKline to head Operation Warp Speed, which is condensing 10 years worth of vaccine research down into months. And then let me just go a little further here. In my Bill Gates piece, my 3-part investigation for The Last American Vagabond, let me just search. I think I have Gavi written about in one of these articles. Maybe not. Maybe I never mentioned Gavi. Well, yeah, here we go. So this is from part 3 of my Bill Gates investigation. It talks about, as a 2015 report titled Philanthropic Power and Development, Who Shapes the Agenda, examines the influence of global philanthropy and provides examples of the undue influence Gates and others can wield. The report outlines much of what I describe in part 1 of this investigation, how, quote, through the placement of foundations, staff, and decision-making bodies of international organizations and global health partnerships, the Gates Foundation influences and guides public health policy. The Gates Foundation is not only a board member with Gavi, which we just talked about, but the Global Fund, the Partnership for Maternal, it goes on and on. But the point is, Gavi is partnered with the Gates Foundation, and here you go again. As I said a few moments ago, in 2010, the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation launched the Decades of Vaccines and called for a global vaccine action plan. They also helped create the public-private partnership known as Gavi, or the Global Alliance for Vaccines and Immunizations. And they provided a 5-year pledge of $750 million as seed money to launch this in 2000. So they helped kick this off in 2000. They are continuing to give money through the 2000s and up into this day. And then Gavi's growing. Now they're a huge influential organization when it comes to COVID-19 vaccines. Last year, they're saying anti-vax info needs to be removed because it's a disease. Last year, Trump is saying he supports the measles shots. They got to get the shots. They're so important. This year, he does a statement in partnership with Gavi, which again is connected to the Gates, is connected to, with all these people. Trump's appointing vaccine manufacturers to head up Operation Warp Speed. I don't know how much more evidence you guys need, but I just wanted to reiterate that for those of you out there who, for some reason, are still thinking that Donald Trump's going to save the day and keep you safe, I hope you will examine this evidence. I'll include all the relevant links in the description below the video. And continue to do your research, guys. Continue to ask questions. Please share this with any Trump supporters that you know. This is not an attack on Trump. It's just exposing the truth. And people need to understand that the only way we're going to make it through this world of contact tracing, immunity passports, mandatory vaccinations, or even just social engineering to push vaccines is to come together in communities. This is what I talk about in my most recent book, How to Opt Out of the Technocratic State, and it is available for free on this website. Please go download it. Please learn more about it, because we are in a point now that if we don't get organized, they will isolate us, they will separate us, they will cast us out from society, and alone we might not survive. But together we can weather this storm and we can build a better world. So thank you guys for listening. Please like, follow, and subscribe, and share. Sharing my work always helps. Until next time, remember, you are powerful, you are beautiful, and you are free. And don't let these mofos stick you. Peace.